Let's go down Pennsylvania Avenue, and Kellyanne Conway now joins us from the briefing room. It's kind of a dreary day down there as well. Kellyanne, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. That was an excellent interview.
Thank
Ainsley,
you, Kellyanne.
with Justice Gorsuch. Thank you.
Thank
He's
you.
one of 2 United States Supreme Court justices, but one of 174 federal judges that this president has gotten confirmed to the bench since he got here. It's pretty remarkable. Well,
of course, John Roberts, the Chief Justice, will be presiding over the impeachment trial in the Senate. Kellyanne, let's talk a little bit about these 30-some-odd moderate Democrats who are in districts that Donald Trump won in 2016. They would probably like to vote against impeachment, but Nancy Pelosi is going to make them walk the plank. What's their life going to be like over the next year? Do you think people will forget about it come next 2020?
No, people will not forget about it. People will remember how those Democrats spent their time and the taxpayers' money, which was a big waste. And if you waste my time, you risk my trust, is what these voters will say to them. And can we stop calling them moderate Democrats? I think they've proven that they're not. They are not representing the will of their people. If you're called a representative, if that's your day job, you ought to represent the will of your people. And these folks saying, oh, it's a vote of conscience, I've been struggling, I had to read all the documents all weekend, they would sound more legitimate and more credible if they just said, I need to follow the leadership of my party, which has gone so far to the left we can't even see the middle from where we are anymore, and frankly, which probably dangles committee assignments and campaign money in front of me for me to make this vote. Contrast that with Congressman Jeff Van Drew, a longtime Democrat, served in the state legislature in New Jersey for 15 years as a Democrat. The Democratic Party endorsed him in the primary for Congress last year. He's been their guy all along. They wanted to flip that Republican seat, had been held by Frank LoBiondo for 24 years, and they got their will. And Frank, the DCCC, the Democratic Congressional Committee, made New Jersey ground zero in 2018, and Van Drew was a big part of that. Now you have his Democratic colleagues in the House calling him a traitor, saying he's not important, it's not indicative. This is a big deal. That is a vote of conscience, because in that district, Trump won it in 2016, but Obama won it in 2008 and 2012. And I grew up in that district. You've got a big farming community. I worked on a blueberry farm in Jeff Van Drew's district for 8 years. I went to school at St. Joe's in Hamilton for 13 years, from kindergarten through 12. My family lives there. I own a house there. The folks in that district want Jeff Van Drew and the rest of the Congress, Republican and Democrat, to work with the president on infrastructure, prescription drugs. You see the USA Today poll that just came out? Impeachment is number 11 out of 12 issues that voters say will influence their vote in 2020. Let's repeat. Is impeachment number one? It's number one on some of those cable stations that hardly compete with you. It's not number one to the voters. It's number 11 out of 12. It's dead last to Republicans. Among Democrats, it's after Social Security, education, the economy, immigration, and health care. Think about that.
So a couple of things. It looks like the House is going to continue impeachment probe regardless of what the Senate does. So this could go on and on and on. That poll also says that President Trump beats every single Democrat head to head. So that's going to be interesting. Chuck Schumer didn't miss a chance to get some publicity. He walked in front of the cameras and pretended like he didn't have a meeting with Mitch McConnell today on tap. Listen to this.
Haven't seen a single good argument about why these witnesses shouldn't testify. I told Leader McConnell I was ready to discuss trial rules. Instead of talking to me, he spoke publicly about what a trial may look like and said he was taking his cues from the White House. It was very partisan, very slanted, very unfair.
Kellyanne, he's upset because Mitch McConnell wants to work with the president in the White House. But listen to what he said back in 1999.
Any fair process would be consulting the White House, because it's the president who's the defendant, and due process would guarantee him or fairness. It seems to me that no good case has been made for witnesses. What we ought to be doing instead of this is doing what the American people want us to do, which is make the schools better and preserve Social Security and rein in the HMOs.
Which Senator Schumer should we believe?
When you play these clips of the senators from 20 years ago, please don't find one of me with the big Jersey hair at the time. So I think you need to go with Senator Schumer in 1999 for a very simple reason. That's when he had an interest in Congress working and doing its job. And he listed a litany of issues there that animated the voters at the time. And he was absolutely right, which is why we're right now. That these polls even reflect the fact that voters do not want impeachment. It's not on their holiday wish list. But Senator Schumer is whining for a different reason. He's going back to the process because he knows that they have no substance. And he's trying to get the fix in there early to say, oh, the Senate trial was unfair. That's why it's illegitimate and the public can't trust it. No. Under our Constitution, you need 67 United States senators to vote to convict and remove the president from office. He knows that's not going to happen. So he has to pregame and complain that he feels left out. His feelings are hurt. You just made an excellent point, though, that these polls, since impeachment started 2.5 months ago, have been going toward the direction of the president, particularly among independents. Just yesterday, Quinnipiac released a poll. Independents say by a margin of 58 to 36, the president should not be convicted and removed from office. You see these swing state polls. I told the president just yesterday or last week, improbably, they've made you a victim of all things. And people are, look at what's the protesters in these supposedly blue districts. So the voters are paying attention, and the Democrats thinking they can pull yet another one over the voters. They're getting it handed to them because people are smart and they're paying attention.
Well,
they say, you're supposed to work for me, and this is not working for me.
One poll that people took note of yesterday, that's the Dow Jones Industrial Average.
Oh, yes.
Since Donald Trump has been elected president of the United States, it has gone up 10,000 points. It is, I think, the 120th all-time record. Now, that's something people can appreciate, the fact that the economy seems to be working.
Yeah, numbers don't lie. The fact checkers go into overdrive. They don't know what to do when they see the Dow Jones and NASDAQ averages continue to climb up. We're smashing records on employment, on workforce development, on deregulation. We're now net exporters of natural gas and oil in this country. Right. On top of that, the booming economy. And the people who think you can impeach President Trump, you're not impeaching his economy. You can beat President Trump. You're not beating his economy. Okay. And I remember a couple of short months ago, they were all predicting a recession. Where's the recession that they all scared Americans? Americans are smarter than that, and we believe in that.
Heading to the holidays, economically, we seem to be on the right foot. Kellyanne Conway, thanks so much.
Thanks,
Have the best day. Take care.
You too.